All right, good evening, everyone. Welcome, everyone, to tonight's meeting. We appreciate everyone coming. It is Monday, April 13, 2026. It's a little bit after 5:30 p.m., and this is a public meeting of the School Board of West Bend Joint School District Number 1. More than 24 hours prior to the meeting, notice of the time, place, date, and subject matter of this meeting was posted at the entrance doors of the Education Service Center and on the district website. It was also sent to the West Bend Community Memorial Library, the Daily News, WRYU, the Milwaukee Journal Sentinel, and other media sources that have requested notice of our meetings. I'm just going to pause to ask Superintendent Wimmer to confirm that this meeting was properly posted.
Yes, it was.
Great, thank you. Please rise and join us in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. First, we recognize a quorum of our board. All 7 members are present, and so we will proceed with our meeting. Next on our agenda is to consider approval of this agenda, which was published in advance. I would move to approve this agenda. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Kelly. We have a motion and second to approve the agenda. Any final discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. That motion carries. We now move to one of our most favorite topics always, recognitions. And so Aaron Felber, our West Athletic Director, I believe, is going to come forward. We're going to start with state recognition for West Bowling. Good evening to you.
Good evening. Thank you so much for having us. We have lots of our amazing state qualifiers to recognize tonight, so it's an exciting evening. But we will start off with Paul Vogie, our West Bowling coach, to talk about Jared Becker.
All right, hello, as Aaron said, my name is Paul Vogie. I'm the West Bend West Boys Varsity coach. I first like to say thank you to the school board for recognizing not just my bowler and state qualifier, but all the wonderful boys and girls here for the state qualifiers that they did in their spurts. A little bit about me, I've been coaching for 3 years now, and I've been lucky enough to stand in front of you guys for the 3rd year in a row. So thanks to the bowlers and my team to get me to do this. A little bit about Jared. He's been bowling on the high school team for all 4 years of his high school career. All 4 of those years, he was on varsity as well. He was also our captain this year. Although he doesn't show it much emotions, I think he really enjoys bowling. So hopefully he continues with that. So there's 942 boys in the state for bowling. 110 make it to state out of those 942. So Jared was one of those. I wouldn't say lucky 110 because he had to put in the effort to make his spares and his strikes and, continue on and, not mess up. He ended up with 80% of his frames were either strikes or spares. 90 were strikes and 55 were spares. So not a very easy task to do if you got any bowlers out there. It's especially on them corner pins, it's really hard to hit them. But other than that, so the district has 88 boys in here, so he was 1 out of the 88. We took 6 boys this year for the district. So again, he did an excellent job there. When we got to state, lanes weren't as favorable as we wanted to. He struggled up there a little bit, but there was a lot of rain in the forecast, the humidity was up, and a lot of bowlers struggle with that when the lanes were sticky and all that. So he struggled a little bit, but still think he had a good outcome. So he is a 2-time state qualifier, actually 3-time because he went to state for the team also. So went to team in the first year, and then the following 2 years he went to individual state. So again, he finished 91st in the state out of 110 boys, but again, he beat out 830 of them to get there. So I'd like to say thank you, Jared.
Congratulations.
Any questions from the board?
Any questions? Just congratulations. Appreciate it very much that you came tonight to allow us to recognize you. Yeah, thank you. We'll move on to our next recognition, which is West Bend Boys Swim and Dive, and we invite Aaron Felber back to the podium to introduce that.
Next up, we have our head boys swim coach, Jim Soxie, and our diving coach, Pete DeTunk.
Because I am the dinosaur around here. Yeah, come on up. But you have to stand between that plate and that plate. That's right. That's it. Yep. Yeah, gentlemen, there are cues. We want to be sure that folks online
few
can
of
see
them.
you, so.
All
yeah,
of them.
We just need you to stand in between the markers on the ground there. Come on around. That's great.
Yeah, I just threaten them with their lives. Or a lot of swimming. Well, I can't do that anymore. Most of them are seniors. All right, first I want to congratulate all the fall and winter sports for their accomplishments and hope the spring sports have great seasons. I want to thank both Aaron and Mackenzie for all the great support they have given the boys swim and dive team. Aaron and Mackenzie agreed to hand out the awards, the medals at the conference meet that we hosted this year. And Aaron also came to the state meet to cheer the team on. I do want to thank Dr. Wimmer for all the support that she has given us and the school board for all your support. I want to introduce my outstanding coaches. Coach Pete DeTunk next to me is our diving coach, and Coach Jen Wimmer. Meyer. I'll get it right one of these. There's a lot of Jens around. Where's Miss Potter? Is my assistant coach and does an outstanding job also. Again, I have been blessed with another group of wonderful young men. Okay, the 7 men standing here, we have Ben Sajak, Jay Perush, Gavin Perush, Colton Malter, Will Tibbetts, Drew Gundrum, and Wesley Elise that represented us. Gavin was our diver, and the other 6 were the swimmers. I'm going to let Pete talk about Gavin, and then I'm going to give the rest of it.
Okay, I'm going to brag about this kid a little bit. He had a great, great season. He's a sophomore, second-time state qualifier. He did defeat, at our conference meet this year, he did defeat the Division II state champion. Had a great meet for sectionals, qualified for the state meet, which was again in Waukesha, and he just did such a great performance. He's come so far this year. He's changed completely, and I cannot wait to see what he does for the next 2 years. Nice job, Gavin. Thank you.
Okay, state meet results. Gavin in diving took 15th. Drew Gundrum was third in both. Was third, but I put in both. That's typing skills, 3/4 of a century old, and my hands don't work right. Third in the 100 free and fourth in the 100 back. Both of these are all state. Drew's 100 freestyle time of 45:27 and the 100 backstroke time of 49:43 are the fastest in West Bend's history, and I've been there for most of it. Swimming also. Will Tibbetts was 8th in the 50 freestyle, which is all-state honorable mention, and 16th in the 100 fly. Wesley Elise was 11th in the 50 freestyle. Now to our relays, our 200 free relay of Wesley, Ben Sajak, Jay Perush, who am I forgetting? Oh, and Colton Malter took 11th. Our 400 free relay of Jay Perush, Wesley Elise, Colton Malter, and Drew Gundrum took 10th. And our 200 medley relay of Drew Gundrum, Jay Perush, Wesley Elise, and Colton Malter took 4th, which ends up all-state. The top 4 are all-state in each event, and the next 8 are all-state on an honorable mention, and then there are time cutoffs. The medley relays time of 1:34:13 is the second fastest in West Bend history. All 9 events scored points. giving West Bend 10th place with 106 points. A couple of other accomplishments I am proud to announce which is first time because Glacier Trails Conference started this year, boys varsity champions. We had 9 conference champions, which established 9 conference records. What an amazing, awesome way to celebrate my 48th year as head coach. Last year it was 50 years total, now it's 51, for my hometown, West Bend. Thank you very much.
All right, we're going to continue with our next recognition, which is state recognition for West Bend Wrestling. And Aaron, kick us off again, please.
Our head coach, Aaron Spaeth, will tell you about our state qualifiers in wrestling.
All right, good evening. I want to first start out by thanking the school board and Superintendent Wimmer for taking time to recognize not only the wrestling state qualifiers, but all the state qualifiers in the room. The room's full tonight. I think that we have a really good problem on our hands. My friends and I always like to say, like, when you become a state qualifier, you're a state qualifier for life. Nobody can ever take that away from you. So I'm speaking these words to the wrestlers, but everyone in the room, congratulations. With that being said, I want to recognize the 2 West Bend Wrestling state qualifying athletes, Colin Weber and Jack Lubinsky. First up, freshman Colin Weber. He qualified for the state tournament his first time at the 106-pound weight class. Colin finished the season with an overall record of 43 total wins and only 5 losses. Colin was the champion at the Battle on the Bay, Beaver Dam, DeForest, Conference, Regional, and Sectional tournaments. He had an extremely impressive season, and the best part is we get to have him back for 3 more years. Next up is junior Jack Lubinsky. This is Jack's second trip to the state tournament. Jack was 41-8 on the season, and he had a fantastic state tournament. Jack became a 2-time state place winner by finishing 3rd in the state. Something that made Jack's state tournament so special, he had actually beat 2 different wrestlers that had previously beat him that current season in order to take that 3rd place finish. So it was a true representation of his constant improvement and self-confidence, knowing that past results don't define the moment. I am so proud of both of these wrestlers, and we're very thankful that we get both of them back for next year. Congratulations, Colin and Jack, on tremendous seasons.
Thank you. And Aaron, you're going to introduce for us state recognition West Bend snowboarding.
I'd like to call up our head coach, Hunter Zaskowski, and assistant coach, Brian Pomeroy.
Folks, come stand right kind of in front of or alongside the podium, in between the markers on the floor, so our friends at home can get a good look. All right, I think that looks good.
Well,
Fantastic.
good evening. I'm Hunter Zaskowski. I'm the head coach, and this is our assistant coach, Brian Pomeroy. Start by introducing all the athletes. Connery Doherty, Kingston Diebel, sorry, my apologies. Gavin Schauble, Brooklyn Phillips, Bryson Klatt, Sean Gadsky, Ocean McMahon, and Addison Turchek. I'll start with some conference results. So I'll do some quick top 3 conference results. Women as a team placed 2nd overall in conference for slalom, giant slalom, and border cross. So that's all 3 events that we race in. So a little bit of background on our structure of our season. We race 12 normal season races throughout the year, 4 races per event, and we race 3 events total. Those events being slalom, giant slalom, and border cross. So the girls did an awesome job this year, and 2nd place across the board for the conference. And then individually, Gavin Schauble, he did 1st place in border cross, he was our conference champ. second in slalom, and first again in giant slalom, conference champ again. On to some state results. So state consisted this year of 40 girls and 53 boys, with a total of 10 teams competing. We raced out in lacrosse at Mount Lacrosse. It was a Friday, Saturday event. Basically, we show up Friday, practice, and then we race all day Saturday and do all 3 events. So some top, some combined results. We did the girls team placed 4th as a team overall, missing the 3rd place spot by just 1, so they did an awesome job. And our boys finished with 8th place overall as a team at state. With a couple injuries going into the season, Connery over there broke his collarbone 2 weeks before. Definitely hurt our team as a team, but still awesome. He's here, he was there, he supported the team all the way through, and we appreciate that. Some top 20 results individually. Start with women. Brooklyn Phillips did 5th in border cross and 3rd in slalom, 13th in slalom. Addison did 13th in GS and 17th in slalom. Taylor Calloway, who's not here tonight, did 17th in border cross and 19th in slalom. On to the boys. Top 20 results. Kingston Dybel did 20th in border cross. And Gavin Schaubel did 2nd place in border cross, 12th in GS with a fall, and won slalom as our state champion with a 2nd place overall, which is really awesome. To wrap up Gavin's season for the year, he went out to nationals 2 weeks ago and competed at USASA Nationals out at Copper Mountain, Colorado. And he competed in slalom and giant slalom with a torn AC joint and ended up winning both events, taking 1st in both events out there. So for him to go represent the Midwest and our state and our team and our school out at nationals is a pretty awesome thing. Gavin is also going to continue coaching with us next year. So we're excited to have him around and keep him around and go from there. To wrap things up, we had a great season overall with a young team. We already have 6 middle schoolers signed up for next season, so we're excited to have them. And excited to see what's to come with that. Appreciate the opportunity. I thank you guys for letting me take the time to represent the team. And congrats to all the other teams and athletes here tonight. Thank you.
All right, and Aaron, you're going to help us introduce the state recognition for West Bend ski team.
Last but certainly not least, I'm going to call up Aiden Cison to talk about our state qualifiers in ski.
Hi, everybody. Like Aaron said, I'm Aiden Cison. I've been acting this year alone as the interim head coach for the West Bend ski team in place of my dad, who had a battle with cancer not too long ago. I'd like to thank the West Athletic Department for all of their support and all their help, along with Jen Wimmer and the rest of the school board. I'd like to take this time to recognize 3 athletes who played a huge role in our team's success this season. Andre at the end over there, Brooklyn Douglas in the middle, and Danny Pumala. Andre, as a senior and our boys team captain, set the tone all season long with his leadership, work ethic, and consistency. He led by example every single day and pushed this team to be its best. At the state meet, Andre finished an impressive 31st out of 153 boys overall. That includes three different disciplines. That's slalom, giant slalom, and super G. Danny, as a freshman, stepped in and made an immediate impact. Competing at such a high level so early in his career and qualifying for state is no small accomplishment, and it speaks to both his talent and determination. Danny finished 99th overall out of 153 boys. Brooklyn, who was also a freshman, rose to the occasion on the girls' side. She qualified for state and proved that she's going to be a key part of this team for the next 3 years to come. Brooklyn finished 93rd overall out of 157 girls. All 3 of these athletes contributed to this team's success at state. Andre and Danny helped the boys' team earn a 7th place finish out of 22 teams, and Brooklyn helped the girls' team to take 9th out of 22 teams. Their contributions, effort, and commitment didn't go unnoticed, and I'm extremely proud of everything that they accomplished this season. Thank you.
Before we proceed with our student reports, I wanted to take a moment to acknowledge the passing of Coach John Cison. John led the West Bend ski team with dedication and passion for 9 years. In addition to his role as head coach, he was an active member of the Athletics Booster Club, and his leadership and service made a lasting impact on our students, our families, and certainly the broader athletic community. John passed away this February on the day of the state ski meet. We're grateful to his son, Aiden, who stepped forward this season to lead the team. Aiden's leadership and commitment during this time has been meaningful to the program and to the student athletes that he supports. So on behalf of the West Bend School District, we extend our sincere condolences to Aiden and his family, and Coach John Ceson's contributions to our schools and community will forever be remembered. Thank you.
Thank you, Superintendent Wimmer, and also thank you to everyone who showed up. I can't remember, folks at home, how much of the room they can see, but as one of the coaches before said, we have a packed house tonight, and it's always great to see that. So first of all, congratulations to all state qualifiers. Obviously, you have lots of skill. At the same time, we also know that you put in a lot of hard work, and it paid off, and we're very, very proud of you. But we also just want to take a moment to recognize the support that your coaches and your parents bring as well. Thank you everything for what you do to nurture these athletes as well. We greatly appreciate it, and thank you again for coming. We have one more item that involves our students tonight. We have our student representative reports, and then we'll take a little bit of a pause in case anyone wants to leave or stay. You know, this is a public meeting, and we always encourage people to stay for our public meetings. We also recognize you may have one or two other things to do. Let's start, though, with our student representatives and invite them forward to give their report. Thank you, ladies. And as typical, why don't you introduce yourselves for the audience and those at home?
Hi, my name is Haley Kister. I'm a senior at West Bend East High School. I will be introducing our student life and academics. So the pre-ACT will be occurring on April 16th, where freshmen and sophomores will be taking the pre-test to practice and better understand their academic strengths and prepare for the future ACT. Good luck to the freshmen and sophomores. On Monday, April 27th, West Bend High School is hosting an Autism Awareness Soup Night, where art students made pottery bowls that will be available for purchase and have soup to raise money for students with special education needs.
Hi, I'm Bella Downs. I'm a junior at West Bend East, and I'll be talking about the clubs and co-curriculars. Our student council will be attending their state conference from April 19th to 20th. Over the 2-day conference, they will attend breakout rooms, listen to keynote speakers, and compete in competitions to build their leadership skills and plan the upcoming year. Congratulations to the 2026 West Bend, Wisconsin Civics Games, who qualified 2 teams for the state finals that will be held Friday, May 1st at the Wisconsin State Capitol. The high school's environmental club, SEED, is putting on a Spirit Week the week of April 20th to the 24th to celebrate Earth Day. With dress-up days such as Thrift Day, Wear Green, and Wear Floral, SEED is educating about conservation, recycling, and saving our Earth every day. Lastly, Crew will be hosting a Battle of the Bands to highlight solos, duets, or group bands in any genre on May 12th, and in the auditorium will be held an informational meeting, and that'll be in the auditorium. The informational meeting will be in the band room. The winning band will receive a $200 music gift card to the White House of Music. Make sure to tune in on May 12th to hear West Bend's talent.
And then I'm also going to talk about athletics. Spring sports are fully underway now. We have boys tennis, girls soccer, softball, baseball, boys and girls lacrosse, dolphins, track, boys golf, and trap shooting. Good luck to everyone participating in a sport, and thank you for listening to great things happening in our school.
Great, ladies, thank you very much for your update and for keeping us connected. And again, as I said before, thank you to everyone else who attended tonight. We appreciate it very much. We'll just pause for a moment in case anyone wishes to depart the meeting, and we'll continue with our business here very shortly. Thank you very much, everyone, for coming. All right, I think we're okay to proceed. All right. Well, we'll proceed with our agenda. Next on our agenda is public participation. I do not have any public participation comment cards, so we will move then to our consent agenda. On our consent agenda, we have minutes of the March 23, 2026 regular board meeting and executive session. We have 4 transfer contracts, 6 resignations, no retirements, an occupational therapy and physical therapy contract, a special inspection services contract, an education for employment plan, E4E, and disbursements posted through April 3, 2026. Those are the items on the consent agenda. Are there any questions regarding any items on the consent agenda? Hearing none, I would move to approve this consent agenda. Is there a second? Second. Thank you, Joel. We have a motion and second to approve this consent agenda. Any final discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. The motion carries. We move then to reports. Our first report is a canvass report from the April 7, 2026 spring election. Our board clerk, Melanie Ergot, will give that report.
All right. So the Board of Canvassers met on Friday, April 10th of 2026 at 4 p.m. to canvass the votes from the spring 2026 election. The total number of votes cast for School Board of West Bend Joint School District Number 1 was 24,749, of which Kelly Lang received 8,060 votes, Chad Temez received 8,797 votes, June Krieger received 7,500 votes, and write-in votes totaled 392. Kelly Lang, Chad Temez, and June Krieger were each elected to 3-year terms expiring in April of 2029. They will officially take office on Monday, April 27th of 2026. Please note the total number of votes cast includes those on the ballot as well as write-ins. That concludes my report.
Thank you for the report. Any questions with regard to the canvass report? All right. Hearing none, we move then to our construction report, and Tim Harder, our Director of Facilities and Technology, is coming to the podium to give that report. Good evening.
Good evening, board members. It's beautiful and sunny out today, so if anybody wants to stop the rest of the rain, we would greatly appreciate it. As you know, I was here a couple weeks ago talking about how we are starting to do soil clearing of topsoil and starting utility work down in Jackson. So there's a lot of underground utilities that need to happen and so forth. So we've started that process down in Jackson to work on that. Unfortunately, the weather is not always the greatest this time of the year. We have built-in contingencies for a variety of different things, from the fill that we bring into the site to the work that we do. However, I talked to the Findorf team today, and even with the amount of rain that we received last night, they're shifting around and where they're working on the job site. So they are continuing that process if you drive past there as they move dirt around and get those utilities in place as we move forward. This past week, Superintendent Wimmer and I attended the Plan Commission for the City of West Bend, where the Plan Commission voted to approve our plans for the outside work at Green Tree Elementary. For our viewers at home, just a reminder, that is a redo of the parking lot and the drop-off lane in the front of the building to increase safety and security of drop-off and pickup for our students, visitors to the building, and adding some additional parking spots as we bring our early learning program over there and reset that space. The other nice part about an increased parking lot is it'll support the use of that gym on the north end of Green Tree in the evening, as that has become a popular spot for many of our co-curriculars and clubs internally and externally within the community. The Plan Commission also approved our work on the outside of Silverbrook, so that will also then go on to the full Common Council. And then we are actively planning for the last day of school and how fast we can turn over portions of Silverbrook and Badger Middle School across the street to complete our referendum construction work at those buildings. And I'll share more with you on some of those logistics as we go to the next time, the next board meeting coming up. I'll answer any questions if you have any.
Thank you. Board members, any questions? Right. Thank you. We appreciate your report. We move next to our financial report. Lenny Hansen, our Assistant Superintendent, is at the podium to give that report. Good evening to you.
Good evening. So it's the first meeting of a new month for the board. So we have our monthly financial performance review presented for the board. So in terms, I'm getting a little bit more into detail in the narrative around expenditures, just because we are 3/4 of the way through the year at this point. So what you're seeing here reflects through February. When I show you the trend tables as well as the trend lines that you can see, we are pretty much right on track, maybe even slightly under budget at this point in the year, depending on the area that you are looking at. But really always watching the top line on this table, because salaries are easily our largest expense, and we're trending pretty consistently with where we have in prior years. And then at the bottom, you can see right now, we are a little bit under where we typically are in terms of the pace of expenditures for this point in the year. We do know, however, there are some purchase services that are gonna come through in the March and April bills that'll drive that back up to kind of more in line with what we typically see. As well as in the capital expense area, we have some fixed asset purchases that are just a little bit later this year that'll increase that a little bit, but on the expenditure side, we are performing well within where we have targeted to be. On the revenue side, as you can see, we are almost right on within less than a point of where we typically are the last couple of years in terms of percentage. Can't really see that, but if you're looking on your screen, you can. So our property tax receipts are right on schedule with where they typically are. Here you see that in the local line, that, as we talked a couple months ago, really takes off once January takes place. So we are looking to be right on track with where we expected in that area. As we've talked about, the revenue trend is much less linear just because of the times that state aid comes in and property tax receipts and so forth. But the dark blue line represents where we currently are, so pretty much right on track with where we typically see. From a cash flow perspective, we're doing well. We're actually at our second best cash flow performance of the last 5 years, which you can see with the little pink line right here. So we've already made it through that low point that all school districts experience in that November, December, beginning of January time period. So the rest of the year, we expect to have a comfortable cash flow, which you can see is the norm based on the graph here. Balances for different funds are listed here. It is typical for food service to have some catch up towards the end of the year as more claims come in, but we have seen a few years in a row of some challenging food service performance in terms of sales are doing okay. They're better than they were last year, but as we all know, the cost of both food, materials, and labor in the food service industry is hammering homes, personal homes, just as they are hammering businesses. So we are watching that very closely, as that has been very challenging. But we do expect that negative there to increase above to be a positive by the year's end as claims from the federal government and things come in. The compliance report, which was added last month, you'll see here, we are kind of nearing the end of the key compliance points in the year. So just these are all of the key reports that intersect with financial reporting that DPI or the federal government requires. There are many, many more reports that the district files, but these are the ones that really intersect with kind of the operations side. On the whole student services and learning side of the house, they have their own set of items. So I don't want you to think that this is all encompassing, but in terms of just knowing that we're where we need to be in terms of filing necessary financial reports, which has been in the news a lot the last few years for other districts, we are right where we anticipate being. Bank reconciliation is completed for February, and we're working on March right now. So any questions about the financial performance report before I jump to the other section in today's report?
Joel?
So I believe the compensation adjustments that we approved went through in March, so we'll probably see that bump up a little bit.
That will drive up a little bit, if I can jump to the right guy here. That'll drive up salaries a little bit on this table. However, last year, coincidentally, that's when retro pay happened last year as well. So we'll see what that kind of trend really looks like, but it might not be as out of whack as we might expect just because we saw the same phenomenon last year.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, other questions? Please proceed.
Great. The last part is a very brief update. I had previously spoken with you a couple of months ago around some RFPs, around some employee benefits that we were looking at just because the contracts were coming due. So it was a good time for us to review, if we have the best value and service for our employees. So we went to an RFP both for the employee health clinic as well as our pharmacy benefit manager. And we're just in the process right now of, on the health clinic, we've received our proposals and are in a review process along with our employee benefits broker, who is facilitating that process for us. And then on the pharmacy benefit manager side, we have a consultant that is currently receiving bids. So that one doesn't take effect till January, so we've got a little more time on that one. But just, we do expect to see something regarding the clinic coming forward to the board in the next month and a half. And on pharmacy benefit manager, we're probably talking July when something would come forward.
Excellent. Questions, Mr. Jenkins?
I was just curious on the health clinic. Do we, and maybe I'm just naive, do we have that much competition? Like, are there a lot of clinics available for us within the district to curry favor with?
There are several that it's a good business from a number of perspectives, whether you're a big outfit, small outfit. So there are actually several. We've been with Freighter for 6 years. We were with a different company before that, and several other companies submitted proposals as well.
Okay, I just didn't know how common they were. Good.
Excellent. Other questions? All right.
That is my report.
Thank you. I appreciate the format and the transparency of the report. I like the format. I know you're evolving it as it goes, but thank you for your efforts there. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
We move then to the superintendent's report. Superintendent Wimmer.
I'd like to recognize Grace King, an English language arts teacher at Badger Middle School. She's one of only 100 teachers in the state of Wisconsin to win the 2026 Teacher Fellowship Award from the Herb Cole Education Foundation. So congratulations to Grace. We're really proud of her being recognized for her exceptional leadership and dedication to students. Grace was chosen from more than 1,200 nominations by a statewide committee composed of civic leaders and representatives of education-related organizations. So we will recognize Grace formally at our April 27th board meeting, but again, that just hit the news, so we'd like to congratulate her on that award. You might have noticed a smashed up car in front of the high school's building with a big sign saying "Buckle up and phone down." On March 31st, that car was the background for a press conference for the Wisconsin Department of Transportation to promote the Buckle Up, Phone Down campaign to help prevent distracted driving in Wisconsin. So thank you to the Chamber's Leadership West Bend group for bringing the opportunity to West Bend. Hopefully our students and community use that as a visual reminder to buckle up and keep your phone down while driving. April is not only Distracted Driving Awareness Month, but it's also National Donate Life Month. And once again, our high school is going to be a location of a special event. So this time, our Project Lead the Way teachers and students are hosting a Donate Life flag-raising ceremony and a moment of silence to honor organ donation and the need for registered donors. Feel free to join this event on Friday, April 17th, 8:30 a.m. at the West Bend High School's auditorium. There will also be a keynote speaker who's the president of the National Kidney Foundation of Wisconsin. I wanted to provide an update to the board regarding elementary boundary work. So we anticipate communication to go to elementary families later this week, early next week, that provides an opportunity for their input regarding elementary boundaries as well as school start times. So recall I went out, met with each school community, hosted at a PTO event to just get their background feedback. Since then, we've worked with city planners as well as the transportation company Go Right Way to analyze all those potentials, again, impacts on our elementary families. Prior to bringing forward a recommendation or even a discussion with the board, we wanted to get input from our families for that. So I anticipate that coming forward at the next board meeting. Mark your calendars. I know Tim talked about they're moving some earth at the Jackson site, but the formal groundbreaking will be Monday, May 11th at 1:45 p.m. at the new site of Jackson Elementary School. So some in the community recall it being the former fire station. Invitations will be shared, upcoming communication, social media, etc. We set that for during the day, so all of our students at our current Jackson Elementary School have an opportunity to participate. So they'll get to walk down on a field trip and see the breaking ground of their new school. Our next meeting will also include a planning update regarding the high school's configuration. Recall the board voted to consolidate into one high school, so I'll bring back elements of the next phase of planning to kick off that discussion with the board. And just connecting to our public, just check out our updated website. We did that transition during spring break. There's certainly, I know I've clicked a few links that don't map correctly, not just feedback on things you're experiencing, but also ideas of how it's organization or information you're looking for that would be beneficial. We would love to hear that feedback. So reach out, whether it's email or giving us a call to share that feedback regarding our website. That concludes my report.
Thank you. Board members, any questions regarding Superintendent Wimmer's report? Thank you for the report. We'll move next to our discussion items on our agenda. We start with the 2026-2027 budget development, and Mr. Hanson will walk us through this item.
Good afternoon again. This will be a brief report. It really sets the table for the next item, which is the staffing plan, which is a lengthier discussion, but updating you from where we were 3 weeks ago when I last spoke at the podium. So we are continuing to make progress. We are certain that we are going to arrive at a balanced budget for 26-27, which we've said all the way along. There is still work to be done. I'll say these core principles again that we are really sticking to, and I'm sure HR Director Sarah Leatherman is going to say them several times as well, but we are holding firm that we are not going to be making changes to our historical class size ranges that we've stuck to for a long time. We will remain within the regional norms in terms of staffing ratios, staffing levels, all those sorts of things by position. We're going to continue to prioritize instruction to a higher degree than the state average. You've seen my pie chart probably too many times now, but we have a history of really prioritizing instruction more than is typically seen in other school districts as far as where we allocate our dollars, and that's going to continue. We also will continue to provide a leading total compensation package, which I spent a lot of time on at our last meeting. That is also a commitment that we feel very confident about maintaining while balancing our budget. We are working to find a spot for as many displaced employees as possible as positions are reduced, moved, adjusted. We're having fairly good success with that. Mrs. Leatherman will speak more to that. There should be a spot for the majority of employees who are displaced, but there may be some where we do not have a position, but that is really changing every day. It's evolving constantly, and we're watching where there's opportunities. If we can find a spot for everyone in the district, we want to do that. We are also, as I've said before, we will be reducing the staff and or budget allocation for every department here at the ESC central office. That helps us continue to emphasize that instructional allocation of our resources. Staff have questions about this, so what I've been doing this past month is I am holding extra building hours at every location. So typically I am at one school every once a week for a full day, and during the month of April, I am doing 2 or 3 sessions per week so that I can be present at every school for people to ask questions. And we've had some questions, but not as many as I thought. So I guess that's a positive that our communication at least must be answering a lot of the questions. And in fact, most of them that I've received, people have been, hey, I just want to confirm this is what you meant. And they're generally right on. So that's been positive. On top of that, Mrs. Leatherman also does building hours at a different school on a weekly basis. So really being very present for employees to ask their questions. And we encourage them, whether it's building hours, email, we'll do virtual meetings. We want to make sure that we're able to answer questions as best that we can. There is still work left to be done, both as we round out some details of the staffing plan, but even once the staffing plan is done, to achieve that balanced budget, there will still be other areas we are examining in order to achieve that balanced budget. So once we move past staffing plan and into May and June, I will be continuing to come to the board to talk about different opportunities for us to create a sustainable multi-year balanced budget approach, which we think is very very realistic for us, but also requires us to really analyze every aspect of the district and leave no stone unturned. So right now we're focused on staffing primarily because that is our largest expense, but we'll continue to look at all areas as the spring progresses. So not a ton of new information, but wanted to be able to kind of review where we are as we move into the staffing plan. Any questions about that?
Appreciate the update. Board members, any questions? All right, thank you. We'll move then to the 2026-2027 staffing plan. And Sarah Leatherman, our Director of Human Resources, is coming forward to the podium to lead us through this item. Good evening.
Good evening, board members. So this is the next phase in our staffing plan. So at the meeting in March, we brought the staffing priorities to you. And now this is the time where we bring the initial staffing plan to you for review. And then at the April 27th meeting, we'll bring that back to you for formal approval along with the contracts for our certified staff. The actual staffing plan document is 22 pages long. So instead of going through that, I will just kind of give you an overview of some of those main pieces that we've talked about so far. So we have 3 drivers of our staffing plan. The first one is student needs, and included in that would be anything that our students need academically, as well as student services and other types of supports. We also look at our enrollment, and as we know, we have declining enrollment. It's continuing to work its way through the high school, in the particularly 10th grade, which is where that smaller cohort from 9th grade is transitioning. And then the budget. So we have that widening gap between the rate of inflation and the revenue limits allocated to districts across the state. So when we look at student needs, we really are looking at 3 pieces. We're looking at all the academic supports that students need. Then we're also looking at the student services support. So that includes counselors and psychologists and things like that. And then the access to education is really our programming. So what other types of programming that we provide students, our alternative programming, virtual programming, things that ensure that every student has what they need. So this chart is one that you have seen many times. We, of course, have that declining enrollment. That 10th grade cohort, it's the current 9th grade cohort, will be the smallest one, then moving into the high school next year. So when we're looking at our staffing, we're looking at, how do we realign some of those high school courses. Our budgetary considerations, obviously, again, our enrollment has declined, but on the flip side of that, student needs are always increasing. So that's the delicate balance that we are charged with figuring out, the best way to provide those. This is a chart that you've seen from Lenny in the past, just again showing the difference between our revenue versus inflation. And so then this is what I've talked to you about this at the last meeting, and Lenny's brought it up as well, but our staffing plan highlights 4 things. So as Lenny has mentioned several times, our class sizes will stay within those historical ranges. We are not cutting programs. Our current programming remains intact, and our support services remain available. Our plan is driven by enrollment, so we aren't making arbitrary cuts. We're aligning staff to where students are, and with our reconfiguration next year, there are a lot of changes amongst buildings. It is fiscally responsible, so we're managing the declining enrollment with those increasing needs of our students, and is very thoughtfully accomplished. And I do want to highlight that, as Lenny pointed out, that we have had many retirements this year, and a lot of that has allowed for us to be able to use attrition as our main platform. So through resignations, retirements, limited contracts, we are feeling very positive about the fact that our staff will have places to land. When we are having those conversations or just beginnings of conversations with everyone, we're coming from a place of, we understand that there's anxiety, we know people get stressed, and we're here to answer any questions they have. And as Lenny said, we're at many buildings, and also we've had a lot of calls and emails from people too. So certainly here to help ease a little bit of the transitions. So the next steps for the staffing plan are to bring it forward at the April 27th board meeting for approval alongside of our certified staff contract renewals. And then from that point on through the rest of the spring and the summer, we continue to monitor and adjust as things fluctuate, potentially enrollment. Sometimes we have changes in our special education and things like that. So that's a continual piece throughout the spring and summer. And with that, I'll open it up for any questions.
Thank you. Based on my recollection, the plan that you've outlined tonight and the general discussion we've had in the past seems very consistent. There don't seem to be any big changes to timeline or anything of the sort. Am I correct in that?
Yes, you're correct.
Okay, great. And then also you talked about communication, so did Mr. Hansen. I think obviously very important, and clearly it's important to the district. I'm assuming that communication plan, once we know and the board approves the staffing plan, that's going to continue as well.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Board members, other questions? Mr. Jenkins.
I just wanted to comment again, because every time that we talk about enrollment and the diminishing amount of students that we have coming in, I just want to make sure that we're not just trapped in a bubble. So I did some quick math here. And, we have we're about 50,000 people is how much we service within the West Bend School District. So in the boundaries, that's the population, right? And so to see that we only have the 300, well, that's, 0.005 of people that are, actually having kids and sending them to the school district. So either A, that means that people are having less kids, which they are, B, or B, that they're sending them somewhere else, right? And so I just want to make sure that we understand that it's a smaller group of people that we're trying to harness and bring our way. So we need to adjust for that, and I think you're doing that. But the other point is what an opportunity that we have that within this small market, right, we could try to capture more and more of those kids to come here. So I just want to make sure I say that it's not doom and gloom, right? That's not why I bring it up, but it's to just be real about the small population of kids that we actually are trying to capture and then making sure that they come here. So I know you know that, we know that, but I want to make sure the population understands that as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Lenny.
I'll just quickly add, we heard recently, not confirmed, but it looks like next year 88% of school districts in the state will be in declining enrollment. So it is really, the primary driver across the state is birth rate.
Yep.
Now, we are fortunate in our community that there are some silver linings or positive things on the horizon. There's a lot of development going on within our district boundaries, and a lot of times people think about Jackson, and Jackson's continuing to boom, but the city of West Bend also has a lot of really positive residential development happening, so we'll see what that trend looks like long term. But I think it's important to really recognize the trend we're seeing is not unlike what you're seeing statewide, but like you said, every student is an opportunity, and when you're in decline enrollment, it's an opportunity to focus and give people that small town feel, which a lot of people are looking for.
You got it. Thank you.
Any other questions? We appreciate the update. Thank you very much. I believe that takes us to future agenda items. Just want to be sure I haven't skipped anything on our agenda. Future agenda items. First, our board meeting calendar. I'll announce the meetings that are currently scheduled for the next month or so. All of these are scheduled to take place at the Education Service Center. April 27, a regular board meeting at 5:30 p.m. Curriculum Committee meets at 4:30 p.m. on May 5. Another regular board meeting, May 11th at 5:30 p.m. And Policy Committee, 4 p.m., May 19. Those are all the items I have on the board meeting calendar. Any additions or corrections at this time? Are there any other items then for follow-up and communication? All right. Well, hearing none, our agenda calls for adjourning into executive session. We'll talk about that, but then just to point out, also reconvening back into open session, taking action. But we'll begin with our adjourning into executive session. I'd make a motion to adjourn into executive session pursuant to Wisconsin Statute 19.851C to consider employment, promotion, compensation, or performance evaluation data of any public employee over which the governmental body has jurisdiction or exercises a responsibility, and take any such action if necessary based on its discussion, namely employment, and to consider non-renewal of teacher contracts. I've made that motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Jenkins. We have a motion and second to adjourn into executive session. Any final discussion? This requires a roll call vote, so I will call the roll. Mr. Pickler? Yes. Dr. Temez? Yes. Ms. Kruger? Yes. Ms. Aragot? Yes. Mr. Jenkins?
Yes.
Mr. Swigert votes yes. Ms. Lang? Yes. Thank you. We are unanimous, and we're adjourned into executive session. I believe the feed, Superintendent Wimmer, will continue. We have a notification up that the school board is currently going to meet in closed session. We'll conclude that, and then we will come back.
Correct.
Excellent. Thank you. We're officially adjourned into executive session. All right. It is a little after 7:18 p.m., and we have reconvened into open session after our executive session. And we'll have the record reflect that all 7 school board members are back in session. We have one action item to entertain, and that is a possible action regarding the issuance of preliminary notices of non-renewal of contracts for employees as discussed in executive session. Based on our executive session, I will make a motion to approve the issuance of the preliminary notices of contract non-renewal of employees as discussed in executive session. Would there be a second?
Second?
Mr. Jenkins, thank you. We have a motion and second to approve the issuance of the preliminary notices of contract non-renewal of employees as discussed in executive session. Any final discussion? All right, this is a matter that requires a roll call vote. Thank you, Superintendent Wimmer, for the reminder. I will now call the roll. Ms. Ergot? Mr. Jenkins? Yes. Mr. Swigert votes yes. Ms. Kruger? Yes. Mr. Pickler? Yes. Ms. Lang?
Yes.
And Dr. Temez? Yes. Thank you. That vote is unanimous. And so we've reached the end of our planned agenda. I would move to adjourn. Is there a second? Second. And thank you. We have a second. We'll give that to Dr. Temez. And Superintendent Wimber, I believe we do not need a roll call vote for this, correct? Just want to be sure I have Robert's Rules of Orders right. We have a motion and second to adjourn. Any final discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. We stand adjourned. Thank you, school board members, and for those for attending and those watching at home, we'll see you at a future meeting.